all agree that raising children can be very expensive. In fact, I believe the tax code has recognized this for a long time, to the point where it issues things like the child tax credit, which is what I'm covering in this video. So as I talk about the child tax credit, I want us to get to the bottom of what it is, who's eligible for it, how much is it worth, and a few other things for you to keep in mind. Now, the child tax credit is a tax benefit that is made available by the federal government, aka the IRS, to eligible families, and this is really to aid them in the process as they raise their children. It's expensive to raise children, right? So this is a partially refundable credit, which is to say you can't receive the entire amount in the form of a refund. You can receive a portion, really more than half of it, which is a good thing. Now, in terms of how much this credit is worth, it's worth up to $2,200, and that was made possible by the One Big Beautiful Bill. Prior to this point, it was $2,000 for some time, but with the One Big Beautiful Bill, we now have the ability to access that $2,200, and each year it's going to be indexed for inflation, which is to say it's going to increase from $2,200 annually for the most part. Now, outside of that, of that $2,200, up to $1,700 can be received in the form of a refund. The rest, you either use it or you lose it. Now, given that you have $2,200, this is per child that is under the age of 17. So that says if you have two children, you have $4,400, and of course, the more children you have, the higher that credit becomes. Now, just like any other credit, if you have certain amount of income reflected on your tax return, it begins to shrink, right? And I'll cover that in just a moment. But before I get there, I want to talk about the children that are eligible for this, because not all children are eligible. So as we talk about the children that are eligible, they need to be under the age of 17 as of the last day of the prior year. That's one. Two, they need to be either your son, your daughter, your foster child, your sibling. It could be your grandchild as well, right? They need to have lived with you for more than half of the prior year, and you also need to be claiming them on your tax return. Outside of these criteria items, you need to adhere to two other things, not just the child himself, but the parent as well. Both need to have a valid social security number, and both need to either be a U.S. citizen, resident, or a national. Right? Now, as we talk about the parent here, if the parent's income begin to reach above a certain number, you begin to phase out, right? And when I talk about that number, it's married, filing joint is going to be $400,000. So if married, filing joint, your modified adjusted gross income is above $400,000, you're going to begin to see that credit begin to shrink slowly but surely till it's no more. If you're not married, filing joint, and you're any other filing status, it becomes $200,000. So you want to kind of keep in mind that portion there. Now, if you are eligible for this credit, you don't need to do anything special. You don't need to file an independent form. Everything is filed on your actual Form 1040. So if you're filing it yourself, once you input the information in the system that you have a dependent, it's going to start asking you questions about that particular dependent to determine if you're eligible. And same if you went to a tax professional, they'll be asking you these questions as well, right? So this credit here, it matters and it makes a difference in the life of many Americans, because it can really put money back into people's pocket as they're going from day to day raising their children. It can be used for savings as it lowers your tax liability, or it increases your refund. There's so many benefits that come with the child tax credit that you don't want to lose out on it if you're eligible for it. But if you're not eligible for it, don't even tap into it. All right, now I've covered everything concerning the child tax credit. If for some reason you're not eligible for the child tax credit, or you have a dependent that is not eligible, what is next in line is the other dependent credit, which is worth up to $500, and it's non-refundable. Okay, now I've covered all that is there for the child tax credit. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments section, and don't forget to like, share, comment. I'm here if you have anything that I need to address. See you next time.